Oh, you mean Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh.
His nickname's Shiggy. But I would kidnap him, make him my outdoor cat. I'd like to have him as an outdoor cat in a labyrinth.
In a labyrinth?
Yeah, if he goes and kills all the creatures inside the labyrinth.
Oh, wow. That'd be a very different labyrinth.
Yeah, but you know what? Welcome back to the Backseat Critics.
My name's Andrew.
Backseat what?
Critics.
I thought you said Pritix.
Well,
what is a Pritix?
you know what a Pritix is?
No, tell me what a Pritix is.
It's a predicament. And we're a pair of them.
I feel like you just made a Pritix, that term off the top of your head.
No?
Yes.
No.
Google me. Anyways.
Just whatever you do, don't say no.
If you don't know, my name's RJ, by the way.
My name's Andrew. And this is the podcast where we tell you which movies you should steer clear of. And this week we're talking about 1986's Labyrinth.
Yeah, with the dance magic.
A lot of dance magic in this.
That is the best part of the movie.
It is.
Let's not even cut corners. That song is
We're not
amazing.
going to dance around it. That song is a slapper.
It is. It still slaps to this day. I actually have it on my work playlist. I'll rock with it.
Let's talk a little bit about this movie.
Okay.
Really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Jim Henson himself, the man himself.
Perfect.
With George Lucas as exec producer.
Perfect.
And conceptual designs by Brian Froud.
Perfect.
The gentleman I showed you earlier.
The guy from Office Space. Got it.
And it's written by Terry Jones.
Yep. Perfect.
Who many may know. Do you know who Terry Jones is?
Nope, but he's perfect.
Well, he is one of the members of Monty Python.
Oh, perfect. We got 4 perfects.
We do have 4 prefects.
What? No, 4 perfects.
4 prefects?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
We don't need no Harry Potter Horcruxes on this show. Okay?
We're talking about Harry Potter?
Yeah, that's what we just turned into.
Yeah. So you did you're doing next week's.
Yeah, I'm doing next week's. Yeah.
Folks, we record way out of order, so we're figuring this out mentally.
Whoa. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. Anyways.
So you did next week's. You did the last episode we recorded, but next week's episode. 1 minute summary.
Oh, are we talking about?
That came through so cleanly.
Did it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I saw the line up to your hand to your forehead happen, and that slap, I'm like, it's not going to come through. And it was clean.
That's what happens when you have no hair. You can make sounds.
You want to hear my slap?
Yeah, let's do it. Yep. No.
It's a thud.
Yeah, it is a thud. Sounds like
that's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good at that.
That's great.
I don't know how many times I need to hit my forehead in my life.
Let's do it one more time.
Okay. Just for the people.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't as good.
Yeah.
That wasn't as good. That was a mess up. It's okay.
That was good. That was good.
I don't want to do it again. It's starting to sting a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, we have a 1 minute summary.
We have a 1 minute summary.
Brought to you by Beach Bums Never Die.
Brought to you by Beach Bums Never Die, an upcycling company. And we're going to start that 1 minute right now.
Go.
This girl wishes her little brother were kidnapped by a Goblin King. And so the Goblin King kidnaps the little brother. And then she gets the little brother back because she's like, you have no power over me. And then that's it.
I'm glad you ended it there because I'm over here trying to find the minute hand on that clock, but it's too dark in that room over there.
No worries.
So.
I got to watch here. So we're...
It's okay. Obviously that was quick, easy, done, 30-second summary. Once again, brought to you by Beach Bums Never Die.
Yep. What's the point of getting into like all the minute detail here
of this movie? Well, I mean,
in a 1 minute summary.
Well, people got to know the story.
I told the story.
Did you?
I did. Yeah.
What about Hoggle? I didn't hear about Hoggle. Hoggle the homie.
Hoggle was a homie.
What about?
But okay. Hear me out.
I'm hearing, listening.
Was Hoggle important to the story?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
How?
She would have not
tried to poison her.
And if he wasn't there, she wouldn't have made it through the labyrinth.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Hoggle was more of a hindrance.
No.
Hoggle the hindrance.
He started that way. 100% started that way.
Really? How do you figure?
He was just kind of a jerk about the whole thing, a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I think he ended up at the end of the day, saved her and got her through the labyrinth. Because he's like, don't.
When did he save her?
He saves her.
He never saves her.
With the ragtag group of the furry dude.
Let's be honest.
Okay.
Hoggle.
Okay.
Villain.
No. Starts that way, ends great. He has a good story arc to him. I liked him. He starts as a villain, starts to trend. He's like a stock market graph. Like it goes down. He starts to trend up towards being a hero. Then he starts to trend down a little bit. And he
Let's
starts to
talk
trend
a little
back
bit
up.
about this girl.
Okay, yeah.
The main character whose name I actually never. I don't remember.
You know what? I don't remember anybody's name except for Hoggle.
Sarah.
That's a classic name.
She is the daughter of a very rich family.
Okay.
Look at the house. That's a McMansion.
That is a 90s TV show house.
That is nicer than the 90s. They have a chandelier.
Peter Panning grew his kids up there. When Dustin Hoffman.
The house in The Nanny
Okay.
was trashier than this. And that house was nice.
This looks like a step-by-step. Full House.
Never saw Full House.
What was the other one? Growing Pains.
It's okay. So it is the size of the house in Home Alone, but
Smaller. It's smaller. That size.
It's bigger.
Home Alone is huge.
It's the size. It is huge. So is this one.
Not as big.
It has bigger rooms.
Not as big.
Why do you look away whenever you say that?
Because it's funny. Why am I not looking away?
Great for the audience.
Not as big.
Stop that! No!
Yes.
I broke my own rule, folks. I said no.
Yeah. You yes man, Jim Carrey.
Now I gotta die.
Whoa, that just went from zero. So yeah, I'm gonna take over this podcast now, and I'm gonna talk about Labyrinth. So we have these Muppet characters in this movie. Great Muppetry, brought to you by Jim Henson in this. He does some little puppetry, brings some of these wacky characters to life. I think there's one of Andrew who is sitting here dead right now, which is okay. But he comes to life and they go, Andrew Magic, what will an Andrew do to you? Give you a wet willy or fling poo at you? I feel like that's a great song because he's trying not to laugh while he's feeling dead over there. I'm hitting it right now. All right. Okay, you stuck out the tongue. Andrew, you had a question throughout this movie that you proposed to me before we started to watch it today.
Oh my gosh, I'm back to life.
Let the people know what your question was.
Whew. Give me a moment. I just saw the other side here.
Oh, where we were at a successful podcast? Was that what you saw? Wow, I saw what it looks like to actually be successful. Woo! Yeah, that would bring me back to life too, I guess. What was that? What do you got though?
We had a live show. I pooped my pants and brought myself right back to life.
If we ever get to the live show point, remind me to bring diapers for you. Some Depends and some Clorox wipes.
Can we? Okay. Okay. First off, we need to address this. This keeps coming up. For the folks who don't know,
Andrew uses Clorox wipes to wash his hands.
I was being thoughtful. I bought some Sour Patch Kids. Nobody likes a little Sour Patch residue all over their hands. You get the powder, you get the goo. So I'm like, you know what? Clorox wipes.
Terrible idea.
I bought a travel pack.
He says hand wipes to me, people. He says, I have hand wipes. I pull it out.
They wipe your hands.
I smelt it. And they are straight Clorox wipes.
You use a little lotion afterwards.
No, not with Clorox wipes. You don't use it. So you have to wash your hand. The chemicals on that are terrible.
But you get rid of that Sour Patch residue.
Gosh. So you had a question though.
Yeah. So there were a few actors proposed to play Jareth, King of the Goblins, including Sting of the Police, Michael Jackson, and Prince.
Yes, all three.
My question, the first part of my question is, who of those three, who would your pick be, excluding David Bowie?
I am going to pick Prince.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Explain that. What is your thought process there? What do you think that he could bring to the table that others can't? Song wise, what do you think he would bring?
I think Prince, he did the soundtrack for the Batman movie, the OG Batman movie.
He did the soundtrack. He did a couple songs.
Yeah, he did the soundtrack. And I think
that was Danny Elfman, my guy.
He can bring back that dance magic. Like I could see him still pulling that off. I can still see him pulling off the look of the Goblin King a little bit. And I think he's a little bit of a mystery to some people sometimes. I think he could have pulled it off. Now, Michael, I feel like he's a little bit too nice. And then Sting, nobody wants a headliner with a person named Sting, unless you're talking about WWE.
Mr. Sting?
Yeah, I think that would have got washed in WWE or WCW. So I think just having that, it would have got lost in there. So I would have gone with Prince.
Okay.
What about you?
I'll be honest. I was also going to choose Prince, but Michael's off the table.
Too nice.
He's too nice. He's too friendly. He's too hoo-hoo.
Did you hear that he used to
diddle little kids?
No. My God, you gotta cut that match. He used to
diddle little kids.
Call. What's I can't think of his name right now. Who is the guy who did Gladiator? The main actor, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
He used to call Russell Crowe and prank call Russell Crowe. Immediately
awesome.
And Russell Crowe and Michael never met.
What?
They never met. And for some reason, Michael would find out where Russell Crowe was staying in a hotel when he was traveling to film and prank call. And all of a sudden he'd know that it was Michael, because Michael would be like, it's Michael. It's okay, Russell. But he used to like prank him and never met the man.
That's crazy.
It's a fantastic story. But he's too nice.
Also, fun fact about Michael, he and Freddie Mercury were recording a song together, and Michael brought his pet llama and kept talking to the pet llama and feeding the pet llama throughout the recording, and Freddie Mercury just got fed up with it and left.
That doesn't surprise me. Freddie had a hot temper.
Yeah, he did. Great singer, though.
Oh, yeah.
Great
His
singer.
range is fantastic.
Hey, he's no Michael Patton, but he's great.
Fantastic range.
So I already said that Prince would be my pick for pretty much the same reason you said, but I'm going to go with Sting.
Okay.
if you've seen the guy act, I think he gives off a mischievous vibe. He's got a Goblin King kind of look. You dress him up some, he could be evil.
Okay.
I don't think he's as good as a pick as David Bowie.
No, David Bowie played the part well.
I think out of all of those picks, I think David Bowie's the best.
He played the part very well.
But I'm going to circle this back to a bigger question.
Okay.
Any actor,
or
any musician, any time period.
I'm gonna go with Marshall Mathers, Eminem.
Why?
Can you imagine just the angriness, the anger behind Marshall Mathers? Fantastic. You're like, hey, stop your complaining, Sarah. But you drop a lot of F-bombs and B words and like, Sarah, bang, bang, shoot her, movie over. I think you would have shot her.
Yeah.
I can see him just be like, it's my baby now, and give her crazy eyes.
Can we talk about how for 20 years Eminem's never changed his really rapping style outside of angry?
And comedic.
I think he's leaned away from the comedic a bit.
Lately, yes, but in the 90s, he is more the comedic route.
Yeah. I kind of wish he stayed in that way.
Late 90s, a lot of people didn't like it.
His flow is too aggressive.
He's very aggressive these days.
He sounds like he's got to stick up his bum.
That's why I think he's the great Goblin King.
Which is, yeah.
Who do you got?
You know who I'm going.
Frank Zappa?
You know, I legitimately considered that.
Weird Al.
The dude in the 70s told his band members, we got to look ugly. We got to look ugly.
Okay.
But.
Elton John.
No. George Clinton.
That's fair.
Dude's got a personality. Dude has got a wild personality. I think he would have absolutely tuned up the scenery. You want some funky, catchy, groovy songs? That's your guy. Yeah, you want a guy to dress up like a Goblin King? That guy will do it. He'll put on some pointy ears. He'll like get down and growly and all that with him. That's the guy.
I think he did pretty well in Good Burger.
Yeah, he did.
He's fantastic a little bit in Good Burger.
We need to revisit that.
Coming soon. Good Burger.
You had a question.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Mine is, so obviously there's some puppetry inside this by the great Jim Henson. Puppetry.
What?
Muppetry? So obviously we know that Jim Henson has a wide range of creatures and shows that he's created. So my question was, out of all the puppetry from this movie, what of Jim Henson's creations would you put inside? And you can't pick, like, piece it together. So you can't pick, like, Oscar the Grouch, Fraggle Rock mixed with Kermit.
I've got to own, like, one thing.
One thing. Who would you put in there?
Ninja Turtles.
There's not enough of them.
Which is why it'd be fantastic.
There's going to be 4 turtles and a rat and a human.
No humans.
No foot soldiers.
He didn't do the humans.
You're just talking about
just the 4 turtles and the rat.
And that's what you're going with.
Imagine how challenging it would be. Wait, RJ.
Who plays Hobble?
Do the hand slap.
Who does Hobble?
Do the hand slap.
Oh my.
Raphael.
Who's with David Bowie?
What do you mean who's David Bowie?
No, who's with David Bowie?
Oh, the rat, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael with a hat on.
Okay, then what about the little caterpillar?
We could do Donatello with a hat.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
No. Hear me out. Everyone is paid by Ninja Turtle. We just throw a hat on. We throw a jacket. It doesn't matter.
This is terrible. No.
Yes.
No. I'm perplexed right now.
Could you imagine the dance scenes?
Okay, better.
Yeah.
But no. I'm gonna go.
Okay, picture this. You've got the dance scene there. You've got David Bowie dancing around. He's got 4 turtles and a rat.
This is terrible.
Gold.
I'm going with Sesame Street.
That's a horrible idea.
It's a fantastic idea.
All too friendly.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Oscar the Grouch.
No.
He's a grouch.
Okay. But serious pick. Dark Crystal.
Okay.
Better pick.
Sesame Street.
No.
Bert's a little meanie head.
Well, Bert's my spirit animal.
Then you have a 1, a 2. The Count. Best vampire ever. Perfect.
Oh. No.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
Fantastic. I don't care what you say. Sesame Street. Replace him. Also becomes more of a bigger hit.
This, then Sesame Street.
No, Sesame Street mixed with this.
We could do the Muppets.
No, they're too comical.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your thought, is they're too comical.
Yes. I wouldn't want the Muppets. I'm staying away from them. I wouldn't touch them on this one.
What about the Ninja Turtles?
No! That's a terrible pick.
What do you mean that's a terrible pick?
Terrible pick. There's only 5 people that you could pick from. With like 200 roles you got to fill.
So?
That's like bringing 5 cookies to a party of like 200 people, saying that you're going to feed all these people cookies.
So?
And then you spit in the cookies while you're making them.
So?
It's terrible. Terrible idea.
It's a great idea.
It's a terrible idea.
Where do you want to start with this movie?
Where do I want to? I want to dive in just kind of at the weird characters you see throughout this movie.
Which characters?
I mean, you got little caterpillar guy. You got this little dude that has like a Napoleon hat on with one eye patch. You got I don't know who that is.
I'll show you off later.
We'll have to cut this out later.
Yeah.
But you got Napoleon with a little eye patch dude. You got the big guy, big fuzzy dude. You got the dude that from the clips, the scene that should have probably was an outtake that they decided to still put in there.
Oh, that dance scene where they're like popping off their heads and hands and stuff.
Got those. You got the goblins.
Yeah, you do have the goblins.
They're just a little wild and unhinged.
Mm-hmm. You've got the rock faces.
You got the rock faces. You got the hands.
Oh, yeah.
The hands, and they're falling.
Okay. Serious talk. The hands, super creative. I love that whole thing. Where they
say they're helping hands.
Right, they're helping hands, but then they form together to create faces.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a simple thing. So good.
And they executed it pretty well. So I'm just gonna say that just the creativeness of this movie with the characters inside of it. I wouldn't expect anything less with Jim Henson behind it, though.
No, it is really good. The puppetry is fantastic. The costume design / puppet making, fantastic.
Yeah,
clean.
So what are you disagreeing about?
Nothing.
You said no to when I said the creativeness of these characters.
Yeah, so?
What are you disagreeing to? I'm so confused right now. You are confusing me in this episode. Ninja Turtles and now this? Now your Clorox wipes to your hands?
What do you mean Clorox? Why do you keep bringing that up?
I'm still just in shock about it.
Okay. Audience, if you're listening, do you use Clorox wipes on your hands?
Answer is no. You do
yes not. Or yes, sometimes.
Yeah. No times. No times. Is the correct answer. No times.
I'm finding out stuff about you after 28 years of knowing you. That's really disappointing.
That's a disappointing time period that you say because it's 31, but that's okay. Your math is a little off right now.
28 years of knowing you.
Okay, 31. That's fine. But just the creativeness of the characters is pretty fantastic in this movie, I think.
Yeah.
Of the characters. And just a little, they got creative with it. That's where I would like to dive in first.
Go for it.
Wow. What are your thoughts on these characters inside this movie? Did you enjoy them at all, or did you think that they took away from the movie? I would say that there are some parts, in my opinion, that they do take away from the movie.
I think that when they were puppets, they worked well.
Okay, not the humans.
When they were humans in costumes like Hoggle, I think that was a weak spot.
I thought the Hoggle costume went well.
I don't think so.
I think the big fuzzy dude was lackluster.
I think the big fuzzy dude was a little lackluster. Definitely could have been done better. Looking at Muppets Nightmare Before Christmas, the
What? Tell me about this movie.
No. For like another Jim Henson property with like a the large was it the Ghost of Christmas Present?
In the Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, sorry, not Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was so excited to hear about the Muppets for the Nightmare Before Christmas. You had me intrigued here, sir. I was like, who played Jack Skellington? Was it Rolf?
Sorry, no, Christmas Carol, but Muppets.
Now I want that crossover.
Right.
I want to see that.
Hot take. Better movie than Nightmare Before Christmas.
I want to see that movie now. That sounds like a fantastic time. Muppets, Nightmare Before Christmas. Put me in. Sign me up.
Kermit is Jack Skellington.
Oh, I just thought Muppets for Beetlejuice.
Boy.
Now we got ourselves a movie. Okay, continue.
But the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah, the big guy.
The big guy.
Big jolly guy.
I felt like that was a better puppet than the big puppet we got for the big guy in here.
Yeah. It's
he left a lot to be desired. I felt like Hoggle, the big thing for me was it felt like it was a mascot uniform.
See, I felt like the big guy was a mascot uniform.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm also saying Hoggle felt like a mascot uniform.
Hoggle felt like when I looked at him, there's a lot of details on him, but to me, he felt like a creature I would see in the Enchanted Forest.
Yeah. Yeah. Also at Disney. But like a limited time at Disney.
I wouldn't even see it. I don't think that they'd bust out a costume for him either, like a costume character running around. I think he's more of the animatronic on a ride.
Yeah.
I don't think that they can make that much detail on the costume character.
No, I agree. Like I could actually agree. Yeah, like Matterhorn.
If there was some sort of mystical ride, I guess. I mean, not that Disney has they have their own It's kind of hard because Disney has like their own mascots.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
No, I wouldn't put him in there. Like, I guess if I'm going to put Hoggle on a Disney ride, I'm going to put him in the Storybook ride somewhere. The Storyboat Canal.
I was thinking it's a small world.
Yeah, you could kind of do that. I guess they kind of have a little area that could kind of fit there.
Yeah.
But Small World, they do it by country. Which country are you going to attach him to?
Russia.
Really? Okay. Just right off the bat, Russia, huh?
Yeah. I really enjoyed the sets for this movie.
Which one was your favorite?
It was a really, really quick scene. There's a few good ones. I think that I think the bog was good, though I hated that scene.
The farting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hated that scene. I felt like the farting was kind of punching low.
A little over the top. A little fart. They're trying to do a fart joke, maybe.
Yeah, a little too much. But I like the set itself worked.
Okay.
I felt like there's that bit where she's walking through and you've got the giant stone heads all talking, and they start talking amongst themselves, but in like a non-deep voice.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was a really good set. A really good one for me was a really quick shot with Hoggle. And throughout the movie, we kind of noticed that you could see David Bowie's face kind of like carved into the environment.
Just throughout the movie in different places, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the moments was there was a set of 3 rocks, and they start off the shot, and you see these 3 rocks kind of line up to create David Bowie's face. And the camera tracks over following Hoggle as he's walking between some of the rocks, and the rocks just kind of become distorted and just look like normal rocks. I thought that was a really good kind of design.
I think my favorite set through it was after they got out of like the sewer tunnel area.
Where the little grinder was kind
Yeah.
of going through. Yeah.
When they got out of it, it was like a kind of like a Roman Empire-y type look.
Oh, yeah.
Garden area. It just was.
The garden maze with the hedge maze.
It just
kind of
looked
thing.
nice. It looks like a little spot that I'd want to sip a little drink.
That reminds
Enjoy my
me
day.
of Alice in Wonderland
A little bit.
with was the croquet played with the flamingos.
Yeah. In that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, it has that kind of vibe to it.
A little bit.
Yeah. I think that was about the time that like I was looking at like the costume design and stuff like that, like the knight kind of characters. And then we later get to like this giant kind of metal golem-y kind of robot character. And we were talking about like what would Lord of the Rings look like if it was made around this time? Like would it be good or would it be bad?
I think we landed on that it would be bad.
Yeah. Like
the Hobbit has
the
a good
Hobbit
shot.
would be good. The Hobbit would be good.
But Lord of the
Likely.
Rings itself has a.
It's too serious.
Throughout this movie, I felt like the effects in this whole movie was hit or miss. What do you feel like?
I agree. I felt like the first third and the last third were pretty good. That middle third was like a total mess.
They had that effect where you saw like David Bowie as like a puppet, like he was acting like a puppet, and then it flips into David Bowie, and it was a smooth cut into being.
It was so smooth.
It looks so nice.
And was it right after that we got the scene, or right before that we got the scene with her being stuck in the woods dancing with those puppets where they're like all green screened onto a foresty background?
Where it was trashy.
It was horrible.
Yep.
It was horrible. And like parts of this movie, especially that middle chunk where she's going through like most of the labyrinth, felt like they were shot disconnected from one another and then kind of compiled later into whatever order they wanted.
There was a lot of that, I felt like, throughout this movie.
Yeah.
Or you
Like
could
I
tell-
felt like they shot scenes as a whole, but they didn't shoot it as like a whole cohesive movie.
The green screen in this movie, the effects of it could have been cleaner.
There was one scene like right off the bat where I think it's with the worm snail looking dude, the caterpillar.
Yeah.
The shots look so clean of the caterpillar on the stone, but then there's one where the stone is like 3 times as bright as all the other stones around it, and you can tell like it was cut out and put onto a mat of the actual like stone wall, and it looked horrible. And I felt like the whole movie kind of had that, where like there were scenes that were really, really well done and worked out really well. Like you said, like David Bowie being like a goblin and then like transforming into himself and then holding a puppet that was super clean. But then we go to like the dance scene afterwards where it's like, it's garbage.
Yep.
And the whole movie just kind of hit like that, which was weird.
Or David Bowie.
Like the bog with the farting.
Yeah.
It's like the bog itself looks really good. Like it looks maybe not as good, but it's like for like a kid's movie, like the swamp planet that Yoda's on in Star Wars.
Or the swamp area in Princess Bride.
Right. But then we've got the farting, which feels like it's punching down.
I think it's kind of funny that you can tell that David Bowie has like these balls throughout this movie, like these little crystal balls. And you can tell that like he plays around with them too. He's filled them around. And you can tell like that's somebody else's hand.
Yeah. It's like it's always someone else's hand like coming through his
Doing
cape
those
or
ball
just,
tricks.
Like, yeah. Spinning them around or whatever. He just got these glass balls, which for a goblin king,
yeah,
really weird for him to be spinning around polished glass balls.
Like crystal balls too, kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of a weird motif.
And that's like his power to throw away, or it looks like they open portals.
Yeah.
From what I can gather a couple of times.
Weird pick. Like it's really cool.
Yep.
But for a king of goblins, kind of weird.
Could be better.
If he was like a wizard, they leaned into that angle. I could see it. But as like a goblin king, it didn't hit right.
No.
What was your I think I know our answer to this, but what was your favorite dance number?
Oh, okay, first of all, the soundtrack of this movie is pretty solid. Yeah. It's not the greatest, but it's one that definitely you're like, they need to take that out of the movie. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So obviously the best song in this whole movie is Dance Magic.
Yeah.
By David Bowie, obviously.
The banger, like right off the bat. Like first
20 minutes, 30 minutes.
It's our first song of the movie.
But song by David. No, it's like the second, I think. I think it's the second one song by David Bowie. I think I caught one right before that. But he's dancing around with his goblins. And they just talk about this dance magic with the baby. Because they got the babe at the power. What
babe
power?
Babe power.
But that song is just a banger. You can put that on your soundtrack on the work. You can put that in. You can have your kids listen to it. It's a safe song.
It is. You've got the fun Muppet characters like chiming in and stuff.
It is just a fun song to get down to.
It is.
I'm surprised that song isn't in more places.
I'm surprised you hear that over some other David Bowie songs. I mean, you don't hear that over some other David Bowie songs.
No, that song should have been, I guess probably people don't like it as much or they're afraid because there are Muppet voices inside of the song.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
This song was a better banger than Let's Dance. I think Let's Dance is trash compared to this.
This song is fantastic. It's hard not to dance Magic.
Yeah.
Because you get that vibe. You feel it. You feel
it in your bones.
You get that little shake. You feel the warmth coming through your legs. And you get a little wobbly in the legs. And then it comes through your hips. And now you're moving your hips. And it's going to your arms. Into your head. And all of a sudden now you're dance magicking.
That's called a panic attack, dude.
Or a seizure. You choose. Whatever one.
That is true.
But that song is fantastic. And the scene is fantastic. It's a little fun. Adds a little fun to it. Because, I mean, you just get done with the kid being kidnapped. You see the struggles of the main character, Sarah, go through the labyrinth. And it brings some lightheartedness to the movie then, where it probably needs it. Otherwise, that could take a dark path in that movie quick.
Yeah.
Like if they're like trying to cook the baby, or if they're trying to like slowly the baby started turning into a goblin, whatever it may be. But that brings some lightheartedness into it and some fun into it.
Now that you bring that up, kind of wish we could have seen the kid turn into a goblin.
Slowly.
Just really slowly. Like get some pointy ears, maybe get some like fang teeth kind of things going on.
Maybe it starts to talk. Because the
Yeah.
goblins could talk a little bit.
Get some like off-colored skin or something.
Some boils.
Yeah. Like just like really slowly over the progression of the movie. We don't need to see like a full goblin baby, but just like it'd be kind of cool.
I would agree, but the only thing that's hard about it is that those goblins are puppets.
Right, but you could always do prosthetics. You can always do prosthetic makeup. You can always add on makeup and stuff like that.
See, the way that this movie was shooting with its special effects,
we saw the baby from Twilight. Why can't we have that monster here?
I feel like the baby that we have right now in this movie with the special effects of that, I feel like it would have been a miss. Just the way that they were hit and miss throughout the movie, I felt like they would have missed. Maybe they had one good like transfer scene, but I felt like,
what if they put the baby in like a goblin like outfit? Like they don't put the prosthetics on. Maybe they just like paint some of the skin and like put him in some like raggedy clothing or something like that to kind of like match the mood of the film, you know, so to speak.
maybe.
That's just my 2 cents. Is like, what if they went that angle?
I wouldn't trust.
You wouldn't trust it?
I wouldn't trust it with them in this movie because it could have very well been a miss because they probably would have tried to green screened it, and then we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
They loved the green screen in this movie.
What are your what are your thoughts on the movie? Just like as a whole.
Like final thought or
Yeah.
final thought, or so we're diving in final thoughts.
We're diving final thoughts.
Sloping in. Okay.
Whoa.
Final thoughts. I would say that for kids, you probably want to wait till about like 8. 8 is probably a safe age, 7 or 8.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't think I'd necessarily show it to a younger kid unless I was around or in the room with them. If I knew my kid a little bit more, I feel like the David Bowie-ness could scare a kid.
Interesting.
Being kidnapped.
Okay. What about David Bowie do you think would come off as scary? Is it like the mannerisms? Is it how villainy he is? Or
if I showed this to a 3 or 4-year-old and they understood baby, like what a baby is and everything, and they understood that they were just a baby, and that this guy is kidnapping babies, I feel like that could scare that kid and be like, oh crap, if he's kidnapping babies, what's going to make it so where a Goblin King full of Muppets is not gonna kidnap me and show up in my room? And all of a sudden now they're dreaming about this David Bowie, which for a lot of women, that's a great thing for them. But in the end, David Bowie's popping in their dreams and now kidnapping them and taking them to this land. And maybe as dad or mom or whoever you are to your kid isn't successful in the dream and saving them.
Okay.
So that's why I would say get to know your kid. I'd watch it with your kid.
Okay. That's an interesting take. That's an interesting take.
I just don't want to scare a kid.
What's like on a scale?
As far as the movie goes, it is a classic. It's got some good dance numbers. The scenery's hit or miss. It does drag in spots. I would give it a 6 rating.
That's fair. That's fair. Are you skipping 7 as?
Yeah, we don't do 7s here.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that's established.
We don't do 7s here.
We don't do 7s here. 7's a cop out. I gotta mostly agree. I'm going to give it an 8.
Oh, you went the other way.
I went the other way. I do think it is heavy hit or miss. Heavy duty. There's parts of this movie that look like garbage, and even for 86, looks like they didn't try.
In a couple scenes, yes.
I do feel like a lot of the scenes were shot independently and weren't really shot as a cohesive movie. But for its time period, I think it's pretty good. I think David Bowie is a pretty good villain. I don't think he's that scary. I would argue that Neverending Story is scarier than this.
Same thing, though. I think is that you would want to watch that with your kid and try to comfort them while you watch through it. I would not want my kid to watch this the first time by themselves. Now, later on, obviously, they're going to get desensitized to it, and then you can allow them to watch them by yourself.
So that's also kind of where I differ. I don't think I'd have a problem with my kids seeing this by themselves. Youngest, I'd let them watch 4 or 5.
I would just want to make sure they don't wake me up in the middle of the night. David Bowie's in my room, Dad. Well, what?
So I don't think David Bowie's that scary in this. I think that there's scarier things looking at you, chitty chitty bang bang with the child kidnapper. I think this movie hits a good medium. I think it teaches kind of a good lesson that a lot of movies don't hit, and a lot of parents maybe don't discuss with their kids when they're like, hey, I'm scared of monsters under my bed or monsters in my closet. And the parent's like, hey, monsters don't exist. Maybe having that discussion of like, hey, those monsters don't have power over you, or you can fight those. I think that's a better message to give to kids.
Okay, you say this.
No. So hear me out. The fear that those kids feel about like monsters under the bed, despite monsters not being real, that is a real fear. I don't think we need to dismiss that with saying, hey, those monsters aren't real, because that makes the kids' fear feel kind of like it's being dismissed. I think instead we need to say that those monsters don't have any power over you. That fear is real, but you can like, I know how to fight them, or like, I know how to like they don't have any actual like power over you. And I think that movie hits that really well, which is why I'm saying like, I don't think I'd have a problem with having a kid like see this by themselves, as opposed to a different movie where it's like you're actually having to like Neverending Story, like the horse dies. That horse straight up dies in that movie from the monster. Nothing actually dies in this movie. Nothing is actually like in danger, because like even in the end she's like, oh, you don't have any power over me, and that's all it takes, and she's out of it.
You know, you say that, but if you have the anxiety and fear, you know how hard it is for somebody to overcome that, or a kid to overcome that?
Are you telling me?
Well, no, I'm also thinking back in the day, I used to watch a Care Bear movie where there was a girl that had like ice powers and came through the closet of kids and tried to kidnap kids inside of it. And then she'd take them back to this cold, dark castle.
How old were you when you watched that?
4, 5, 3.
So remember
3, 4,
how
5.
I said the youngest had let them...
I'm just saying I watched it all the time, but I was scared to death. And then what if the Care Bears forget about little old RJ?
Right.
And then they can't save the day.
Right. Okay. So even example there. That's a good example. So the Care Bears go and save the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're relying on somebody else to get you out of a situation, right?
But what if I don't have that strength? What if that kid? What if they don't have the strength yet? What if they don't? What if they haven't stepped into their big boy pants yet?
Okay. So she realizes, hey, I'm scared that I'm going to lose my younger brother, but this Goblin King doesn't have any power over me, and that is all it takes. That doesn't dismiss her fear, but she is doing it herself. She's not overcoming. She's not going through a training montage of like years of training. That's just a realization that she has. I think that's a better situation. Like the Care Bears, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm kidnapped by some ice lady, and now I have to rely on the Care Bears to come and save me.
You're saying Freddy Krueger, where basically at the end of it, in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, where the girl goes, "You have no power over me, Freddy," and that ends Freddy.
Yeah, show that to 5-6-year-olds.
Oh my gosh! As long as they have that message at the end of the movie, it's fine. Just show them that movie.
But also, okay, but even that, like, that's different. Worst case here, the kid's getting turned into like a fun little Sesame Street goblin kind of thing. It's a little bit scarier than Sesame Street, but it's a little goblins. Freddy Krueger raped and killed people and then was burned alive. I think the situation's a little bit different. I think the stakes are a little bit different.
I'm just saying
the stakes are a little bit different. Like, you're being kidnapped and put in what looks like a pretty fun kingdom.
Fun. There was creatures that were trying to kill them.
And you're comparing it to Freddy Krueger, who raped and killed children.
Trying to kill you again. The only difference is that this one has sprinkled in Jim Henson's
was
Fred.
one was a child predator, and you might become a goblin. And the goblins seem pretty chill.
Sure. Because you're in the Jim Henson world. Take away the Jim Henson aspect. Now, what are we talking about?
We're not talking about this movie anymore.
I am going to say, I just want to watch with my kid first. Make sure they knew.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
Give them the vibe of, hey, this is just a fun movie.
Like, I'm just saying, 4 or 5, maybe 6. I'm watching it with them. 6 and maybe older.
They could probably get along.
Yeah.
But at a younger age, I'm going to watch it with them.
I don't disagree with you there.
And then after the first time of watching it, they're probably fine. Then they could probably watch it on their own.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think they need me after that. I just want to give them that little extra comfort.
Why were you arguing with me then? We're on the same page.
Well, I just want to make sure that you understood that. I just want to give them the little extra comfort. That hey, it's okay. Dad's here. Let's watch the first movie. David Bowie isn't going to appear in your dreams tonight. And after that, you want to watch a little dance magic? Go have some dance magic. Go boogie down. Dance magic.
And with that, if you want to find us, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook,
Google Podcast,
iHeartRadio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, wherever you find your
Andrew's
podcast.
mom's house.
Not my mom's house, because she actually doesn't listen to us, I don't think. If you do, I love you, Mom. You can find us anywhere. Backseat Critics, all one word. If you have thoughts, if you got feedback for what you want from us, what we could be doing better, send us a message on Instagram, Backseat Critics, or you can send us an email at thebackseatcritics@gmail.com. Brought to you by our guys at
Rip City Apparel.
I was going to say Beach Bums Never Die, but also Rip City Apparel. With that, we out.
Yeah, we're out.